Hey, Shawn Thomas here with Accelerators Organization, ready for another mentor session. Remember, our mentors have all areas of business expertise, from starting a company, bootstrapping it, to over 7 figures, some of them even 8 figures. So make sure you ask questions in the mobile application. If you don't have access to your mobile application, go ahead and send an email to concierge@askamillionaire.com and we will reset your password for you. Okay, let's get the questions going here today. First question comes from Nick, and Nick says, is there a process or an easy way to get better knowledge or a hold on my business expenses? The background of the question is I have a vehicle wrap business. I feel like everywhere I turn, I am paying money for X and X and never really making progress at actually understanding where I'm at financially. I just hired my first full-time contractor, not an employee yet. I feel like I'm all over the place when it comes to being financially responsible, always paying for whatever comes up, and I'm spending more than I'm bringing in right now for revenue. It's a very fearful position to be in, and I don't know how to break the cycle. I don't operate on a lot of cash, usually under $15,000 in my bank account. Okay, Nick, I've got a bunch of mentors answering this one. So if you aren't already, one of the first things I recommend is to download and start using QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online can track your profit and loss statement on a monthly basis. If you need help setting that up, we do have a new mentor that is going to be coming on board, Hurley, and you can pay him to help you set that up. I always recommend that when you're going to get set up on QuickBooks that you do get a really seasoned, good accounting person to help you set up QuickBooks the first time. If depending on the number of transactions you have, which I don't think you have a lot from my understanding, you could probably reconcile your financial statements on a monthly basis. But you should at least get somebody who really knows what they're doing to help you set it up as far as sales taxes, filings, all that type of stuff. So if you need help, let me know. By tracking your profit and loss statement, you can really start tracking your profitability as a company. So it could be a couple different things. It could be that you're not charging the right amount for what it's costing you. Maybe you have unnecessary expenses in the company that you really don't need, but they're nice to have. Or sometimes, depending on our break even, which is the amount of money that we need just to keep the business afloat, notwithstanding owner compensation, is sometimes we're just not making enough sales to make sure we cover our break even and then have extra profit left over to pay ourselves. So it could be a combination of quite a few of those things. One of the break even exercise of determining what our break even is as a company really gives us a good guide of letting us know how much top line sales we need each month just to cover our break even. And a lot of people don't go through that exercise in the beginning or know what that number is. And as long as you've got the right profit margins, you know what your top line is going to be, and that gives you something to shoot for every single month. So it could be a combination of all those things. That's what I would look at if I was in your shoes. Okay. If you need any more help with all that, just book a call with me and let's talk about it. Let's get you connected with the right person who can help you with that. Okay. Okay. Next question comes from Bouchon, and Bouchon says, I'm creating a software product. Should I wait for the product to complete, or should I first check the interest in the market? The background is the product is basically a web app which brings all your communication in one place. I also have other plans for tracking daily tasks and routine planning. How should I go about it? First, get the people's interest peaked, or create a basic working product, then go to market and invest in marketing? Okay, I've got about 5 mentors answering this one for you, Bouchon. This is a really, really difficult question to answer, and probably one that's better for us to talk about on a weekly Zoom. So you're talking about the software space, and in the software space, as you probably know, there's a term called MVP, for minimum viable product. Before we build a minimum viable product, usually we do want to do some market research and confirm that there's a demand and a need for the product that we want to develop. Because there's nothing worse than developing something because we think it's a good idea, and then there are other alternatives out there that people are just fine with, that they're not willing to move from or try something new. Developing a technology platform and marketing it out there in the world today it's so expensive. So I would need to understand who your target audience is, what the buyer persona is, the buyer buying process, how much money is it going to take for you to market your platform out there in the world? Do you have sufficient capital? Do you have all of the customer service people that are going to be needed if you do get some intake? So there's so much that goes into building a software as a service, a SaaS company, a technology company like that. A lot more information is needed on this. But yes, ideally speaking, to answer your question, I like building a product that meets the demand of a customer base. The customers are asking for it. I know where they are. I know who they are. I can put them on a wait list, something, but I want to make sure that as soon as I'm building something, I've got people who are ready to pay to use it. You're also, as part of that MVP, you're going to go through a beta round where you're going to get beta users. SaaS is a very, very expensive proposition. So be very, very mindful of the amount of capital it takes to not only build it, but then also to get it out in the marketplace and sell it. If you watch television shows like Shark Tank, very rarely do Shark Tank investors invest in SaaS companies when they're at the early stage, because they know how much money it takes just to market it. Even if you have a fully developed MVP that's ready to go to market, it could potentially take millions of dollars just to market it to get customers going. So it's a very expensive proposition. So keep that in mind, okay? Hope that helps. Next question comes from Marco, and Marco says, how do I know if I should focus on just my business or get involved with new businesses or other projects? The background is San Felino Concierge is your best host in Cartagena, Colombia for the perfect vacation or corporate retreat. We are a destination management company taking care of A to Z for successful individuals and groups. I am the type of person who is highly creative, and I'm always thinking of different things in business, all of which I could do and have the potential to be successful. What is your take as an entrepreneur about new businesses in addition to your own, and whether you should or can get involved or even investing in a new business or projects of others? Okay, I've got about 7 different mentors answering this one for you, Marco. So the way I look at that is this. In the beginning, it's really important to focus 100% of our time on our own business. And let me explain why I feel that way. And opinions vary on this, so I'm interested to see what the other mentors say. If you can have just one business that makes you millions and millions of dollars and has the potential to sell for tens of millions of dollars in the future, why would we need to be involved in multiple businesses and other projects and all those types of things? If one business can do that for us, why do we need to be distracted? Because every time we take our time and attention away from our core business, we lose momentum, especially if you don't have a vast team of at least, at that moment, 25 or more team members, where you actually get to a place where your team is operating and running the business, and you could step away and do some other projects, but it would not affect the revenue and profitability of your core business, then it might be okay. But until we get to a point where we're doing at least $5+ million of profitable revenue, like $750 to $1 million of net profit to us as the owner, every moment should be in that business to get it to that point. The beautiful thing about getting our business to that $5 million mark, not $1 million, but 5, is that's when the business can run itself. You've got really competent, qualified people on your team that can run the business. They can sell new customers. They can take care of customer service. They can pay the bills. They can manage the accounting. They can do everything without you being involved, and you can take off for a month and go on vacation if you want. And the business makes just as much money when you're not there. That's a time that you could start divesting and getting into other things. Until then, My recommendation is to stay purely focused on your own business, grow it, put all the money back in that you can to grow it, and stay focused. That's my opinion. Okay, next question comes from Marco, and Marco says, is there anything you have read or listened to lately that you have found useful as an entrepreneur that you think I could benefit from? The background is San Felino Concierge is your best host in Cartagena, Colombia for the perfect vacation or corporate retreat. We are a destination management company taking care of A to Z for successful individuals and groups. I'm always listening to learn, so I thought I would see if I have anything I can read, watch, or listen to. Okay, I gave this question to almost all the mentors so that they could give you their feedback. What is something that I have read or watched lately? I'm not reading. I've purchased a lot of books lately, but I have not read any of them. I don't know if I have any right here. Actually, the last book that I have started reading is called Why Motivating People Doesn't Work and What Does. There's a whole shift in the world going on right now about, team members and what motivates people. And there's this shift happening in the younger workforce about what motivates, what doesn't, what's important, all those types of things. And I have to say, I'm not really happy about this book because it has a very new school, I guess you would say woke agenda overtone in the very beginning of the book. And I actually don't like it, but I'm going to read it because it's really important for me to understand what the world is like today, even though I grew up with something completely different. I am reading that. I'm also intrigued by what motivates people or what doesn't motivate people because, I'm in that realm as a business myself. So I'm reading that right now. So I hope that helps. The other thing is there's a girl on Instagram that I'm watching to learn more about marketing. Her name is Cody Sanchez, and she has a company called Contrarian Thinking. I am watching her not for her content. I'm watching her because she has a really amazing team behind her doing her marketing. And I'm watching and picking up clues as we start to do more marketing for AO and for some of the companies that I'm investing in. And so I'm learning a lot about some of the new marketing tools out there. So that's what I'm watching. Hope that helps. Okay, next question comes from Rohit and Rohit. And Rohit says, how would you spend a business line of credit in the early stages of your business? The background is I have an online and retail location, exotic snacks and drinks business. My brother got approved for a $10,000 business line of credit, which we're waiting for the deposit. I want to use to grow my e-commerce side as it's lacking. What should I spend to grow my business? All right, I got 4 mentors answering this one for you. I always say, I'm gonna keep this simple. I always say that the early investments that I'm gonna put in my business, I wanna make sure that if I spend $1,000, I'm making $2,000 or $3,000. So wherever you're gonna put that money, put it in income producing channels in your business. Don't buy things unless it's going to help you produce more revenue. So it's a salesperson, anything sales and marketing related that's going to produce a return. That's where I would put the money. All right, last question comes from Rohit, and Rohit says, how do you get comfortable with confrontation? Got a bunch of mentors answering this one for you. It says, I am not a confrontational guy, and I give up easily when it comes to confrontation. I will go back and forth with somebody, but eventually give in and not say everything I want to say. I avoid confrontation as much as I can, and I don't want to keep repeating that. Okay, so I actually have learned to embrace difficult, conflictive conversations because I learn a lot about the other person when I have a conflictive or confrontational conversation. Every great relationship that I have, I can have a conflictive or potentially confrontational conversation with them, and we don't get defensive, we don't judge each other, and we learn from it, and we deepen our relationship. It's really important. So I actually recommend that you lean into it and learn how to not get defensive or judgmental and be respectful yourself, and then look for that in the people that are close to you in your life. If someone is not going to be on the same frequency and wavelength as you in those conversations, maybe the relationship needs to be improved or let it go. Okay, hope that helps. All right, that's today's mentor session. I hope you guys have a great day, morning or night, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you soon. Peace out.